Hi, this is Shu with a review of the Jordan Zoom Separate. This is supposed to be a Doncic signature for Luka Doncic, I suppose. First of all, it's got a lot of a Kobe inspired elements like this huge plastic heel plate heel cup and this little Y in the heel and this huge outrigger. It's very Kobe-esque. And it actually does feel like the Kobe Pro Tros because the Kobe Pro Tros don't have a zoom, they have a Cushlon heel. And this dual density Phylon midsole is actually quite comfy and cushy. They're comparable to the kind of ordinary plain injected Phylon midsole that actually feels comfortable, like there's some sort of um, you know extra patented upgraded material, sort of like the Jumpman 2020. This the heel feels as soft and cushy as Jumpman 2020, so it feels a lot cushier than just the Cushlon heel of the Kyrie Low 4s or the rock hard heels of Why Not 04s and shoes like that. This is softer, so it was a pleasant surprise. Overall, the midsole cushioning, it's very uniform. It's also nicely the density is nicely controlled on the forefoot as well, and there's a decent heel to toe drop. Not drastic, but sufficient. The Kyrie 8 was Kyrie Infinity was awful in the fact that even if they had a zoom in on the heel, the midsole and heel was a bit lower than the forefoot, and the zoom in on the forefoot was just a lot more prominent than the non-existent one at heel. So it felt like it had a heel that dipped, which could be very dangerous for you. This eliminates that. If foot is a little bit more elevated in the heel, so this is good. It works. Good job there. The heel cup is an issue because this little heel cup, it's nice, it hugs the shoe nicely, but the downside of it is inside this plastic material, there's just one thin layer of fabric surrounding it. So if they had a little bit more of a neoprene upper extended all the way there, it might provide a more customized fit for your heel. But depending on your shape of your heel, you might feel a bit of a heel slippage. You might feel a bit of a tightness depending on how this shell forms around your foot. Fortunately, the lace lockdown system is pretty decent. I don't know how much that could help, but they do have a very sufficient fat padding all around the ankle, so that certainly helps a bit. The tongue is sort of a spongy neoprene upper that extends all the way. It feels like a one booty upper, but it actually separates right here so you can have an easy access to the shoe. That's always a good thing that Nike has done. The neoprene upper is, well, not crazy breathable, but they're not suffocating either. This little engineered mesh knit type of area, I wish they would have had a little bit more of a fused material around the toe box area, because this is very soft and elastic. So some people might feel a little bit insecure with their toes kind of popping up there. Inside this outer layer, there's a thick neoprene inner booty inside, so it's not crazy breathable. But there's a decent level of shock absorption or cushioning around your toe box area, so that is good. The Zoom Air is uniquely on the outsole, just like the Jumpman 2020, but you can actually feel the Zoom working better thanks to the soft midsole. And even though the Zoom Air is in a weird position at the core, it actually works because if you're actually moving around in the shoe, you will see that pivot points for most shoes, it's not like there. It's usually somewhere closer to the core because when you're moving around, you will have a little bit more abrasion towards the center of the shoe than the edges. So it actually feels like the shock absorption works around this area, even though there's no zoom air around here. So this core zoom air, it's actually pretty decent. But one problem I have is that the dual density foam, it's nice all around, except until this toe box area, because I guess it declines a little bit, so it's a lot thinner. So around the toe area, you might feel a little bit of an electric shock if you step on it and you're scrunching your toes and exerting a lot of force around this area. So even if the insole is a decent thickness ortholite type of insole, it also has a nice top layer, which is not exactly nylon, but it's provides adequate amount of traction, so it will form to your foot nicely. But you will need something a little bit more substantial, especially around the toe area, if you have a tendency to have pressure around that area while you're moving and feel that you need some protection there. So get a thicker EVA type of insole or a PU insole to complement the shoe a little bit better. For a size 9.5, it weighs about 386 grams, and it feels a lot lighter than that. So that is very great decision by Nike. The outsole pattern, it seems like it's gonna eat up a lot of dust. It's multi-directional, and it kind of reminds you of the KT5. Wait, KT4 was it? Yeah, it's KT4. I'm confused now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, this particular KT model, actually, several of the KT models went with this pattern. I think 3, 4, 5 had a similar thumbprint, fingerprint kind of pattern, and this is sort of like a microscopic, scrunched up version of that. And you might think that it might eat up too much dust and it might actually not provide adequate traction, but this is actually one of the better tractions out there. I don't know about the durability because the threads are not too deep. Yeah, they're not the deepest threads out there, but their pattern also is nicely designed to provide that forward, horizontal, forward, backward direction and lateral movement as well. So it's nice multi-directional pattern there. The one thing that I give high praise to for this shoe, the outrigger is awesome. The outrigger is great. The base is not too narrow and the outrigger is prominent, and the outrigger is connected to this thicker rubber area, and it actually works really well. So this is one of the best outriggers out there. In a lot of ways, it looks like the Kobe 5s, and they're trying to use some of the strengths that they have had in the model from decades ago that still works and that's still highly in demand among players. So overall, nice attempt by Nike. It would be good if you could, maybe put up a like coin size zoom on the heel or something like that. That would be nice. And yeah, one problem I had was the thinning layer of foam on the toe area, so you feel like you need some additional cushioning there. Unless you're always on your heel or on the sole, you ball your foot and you never land on you never exert any pressure on your toes, and this is a perfect shoe for you. The fit also, if you're used to the Kyries and the Kobe's, and if you go true to size with those shoes, you might want to go with the same size or even go down half a size. For average Joes like me who actually need to go up half a size for most Kyries and Kobe models, because I feel like this part pinches into my pinky toe area a bit too much, you might want to go up half a size. That's the size tip I have for you. It does run a little bit long. There's a little bit of a space here in terms of length, and as I mentioned, the heel cup, it's just a plastic and nothing there, so it's a lot more spacious there. So if you want to try the shoe on, lace them up tight, let your heel touch the tip, and then see what fits in terms of the width and the area right ahead of your toes. So I think that pretty much covers it. This is a very nice direction that Jordan Brand Nike is taking, and this is a very affordable model as well. I like this little hint of Nike Air printed on, how should I say, branded on here right below the Jumpman logo. The Luka Doncic logo, the ones that we carry the Luka Doncic logo with, that makes it look more like a player exclusive for Luka. That will actually look better and sell better. The design is actually pretty good if you look up close, and if you don't get this type of ugly colorway. Depending on the colorway they use, this is going to look awesome. Yeah, the price point is also right there, like barely over $100 or slightly under that, I think, and that's a good thing that Nike is doing. Certainly, I was worried that they were doing just discrediting Luka and giving him a really lazy shoe, but this is actually a pretty good shoe.